In recent years, the US government admitted that despite previous public denials, they had in fact been studying UFOs for over a decade. The manager of this previously secret UFO program, James Lacatski, published a book this month with shocking revelations. The 2008 government program which he managed was not just researching UFOs, but all sorts of paranormal activity. Ghost-like apparitions, poltergeist activity, giant bipedal wolves, and dinosaur-beaver hybrids with seemingly mystical abilities. These are all things reported to be directly experienced by the research team that Lacatski put together for the government's Advanced Aerospace Weapons Application Program, AAWSAP. Most of this high strangeness occurred at a ranch in the Uinta Basin of Utah. At the time of AAWSAP's creation, this ranch was already known as Skinwalker Ranch. The experiences of the AAWSAP researchers, as recounted by Lacatski in his recent book, Skinwalkers at the Pentagon, are hard for many to take seriously. They truly seem like tales from a Halloween special, defying all normal logic. Many will hear these stories from the ranch and start to doubt the team's conclusions about other, more concrete UFO observations. Are they simply finding what they want to find? There is, after all, no physical evidence of these encounters, and some within AAWSAP had been part of a previous, private study of the ranch. The rest had likely read the bizarre events encountered during that study in the popular book, Hunt for the Skinwalker. It's that book which inspired Lacatski to investigate the ranch. Perhaps these individuals are simply very susceptible to the power of suggestion and their minds were playing tricks on them. It's certainly easier to wrap one's mind around that possibility than the fact that there might be things like interdimensional dino beavers running around cloaked in a cone of silence, or shadowy figures that might stalk you at your home. But the idea that all these stories are simply imagination gone wild doesn't ring true to me either. It seems clear that those reporting these stories actually experienced something. Also, there's little to no motivation for coming forward with these experiences unless you are 100% certain in your mind that they happened. Otherwise, why risk the stigma and ridicule that's sure to follow? I think the truth lies somewhere in between. I think that Lacatski and the AAWSAP researchers were telling the truth when recounting their experiences, but I don't think their experiences reflect objective reality. And I think there's a rational, scientific explanation for it all. One of the harder to explain aspects of the AAWSAP investigations at Skinwalker Ranch is the propensity for the strangeness to follow investigators. After visiting the ranch, many would continue to experience strange phenomenon outside of the ranch. Stranger still, the strangeness seems to be contagious. Others in the household of investigators started experiencing the same floating orbs and strange entities. The continued and communicatable nature of the phenomenon were studied by Lacatski's team. It was so prevalent that it was given a name, the hitchhiker effect. It was even studied under infectious agent and social contagion models. But such comparisons were only metaphorical. It doesn't appear that a biological, pathogenic cause to the contagious effects were considered. The lack of investigation here is even more surprising when we learn that there is a bit of physical evidence showing not what happened, but that something did happen. Those who have these experiences show an increased immune system response afterwards. One AAWSAP investigator, Eric Davis, has even doubled down on this recently, claiming that one's immune system can act as an antenna, detecting paranormal interactions. The contagious nature and immune system response seems to clearly point to a biological pathogen, one that may cause moments of intense fear and hallucinations in the infected, one that might also cause short-term memory loss, something that might cause you to open the cupboard and forget, or drop a wine bottle forgetting ever having picking it up, things that might be confused as poltergeist activity. Such an infection might be spreadable to others in your household. And behavior-altering pathogens like this would not be anything new. The rabies virus causes extreme behavior changes in those it infects, with increased aggression and a tendency to bite. More inexplicably, they have an extreme fear of water. This helps the rabies virus to spread, ensuring the aggressive host's teeth will be dirty with the infectious agent. There are protozoan parasites that infect animals and alter their behavior, such as eliminating a rodent's fear of cats, making them easier prey. Once eaten, the parasite completes its life cycle inside the new host. These parasites can even infect humans. It's theorized that such infections make people more risk tolerant. And there's even links to mental illnesses like schizophrenia being linked to viral infections and complex interactions with one's DNA. And maybe there's an undiscovered, behavior-altering pathogen at Skinwalker Ranch. If so, it doesn't appear that OSAP looked for it. Instead of focusing on where I think the evidence points, a biological pathogen, Lacatski and team seem to disregard that possibility and instead focus on the more out there hypothesis of interdimensional travel and manipulations of the realm of consciousness. To the team's credit, they did do medical workups on the experiencers, workups that found the immune system responses, but it's unclear that such workups would find parasites or unknown viral infections. If they did study the microbiome of the water, food, soil, and air in the area, Lacatski did not deem it important enough to mention in the book. Such an oversight is understandable. It's easy for me to give this analysis being so far removed. If I had actually experienced such things, I likely would be much less open to the possibility that the experiences here weren't somehow objectively real. And I could very well be wrong. There might be something stranger at play. But I think the possibility of a biological origin should be taken much more seriously. And while I think the strangeness at Skinwalker Ranch is likely caused by a mind-altering natural pathogen native to the area, there's a much more disturbing possibility along these lines that also fits the evidence. Those studying Skinwalker Ranch were deliberately infected with a pathogen engineered to deliver the desired results. In this case, fear. Being able to invoke terror and vivid hallucinations of mysterious entities would be an invaluable tool to any military. And the US government does have a nefarious history of research with psychoactive drugs. Could this have morphed into secret psychological bioweapons research? Or, if the phenomenon at Skinwalker Ranch really is related to UFOs and there's a higher intelligence behind it, might they be using their advanced understanding of our biology to infect us with engineered behavior-altering parasites? Maybe the puppeteer parasite trope is correct. After all, we already know that more than half of what is considered you isn't. 57% of what makes you up is cells with different DNA, things that make up your microbiome, which you cannot live without. It's that 57% and how it changes after visiting places like Skinwalker Ranch, which might unlock some answers. If there is a biological basis to the strangeness, we should be able to find it. And I hope we're looking. I've previously theorized that the phenomenon at Skinwalker Ranch may be connected with phosphorus mining in the area. Could that have exposed a strange buried pathogen? Is there anything else I'm missing that might support or invalidate a biological cause to the high strangeness here? Please let me know your thoughts below. And if you're interested in topics like this, please consider subscribing. I'll be here digging into the and underknown. Thanks for watching. Rather be squidding.